ජීවිතේ වැඩිපුර ලැබෙන හොඳම දේවල් විඳින්න. දැන් SLT Broadband වෙතින් 75% දක්වා වැඩිපුර ඩේටා සතුට ජනවාරි 1 වෙනිදා සිට ශ්‍රී ලංකා ටෙලිකොම්.
Making headlines on First at 9. Clashes and unrest. Police curfew imposed in the Kandy Administrative District following tense situation. President instructs impartial investigation. Party restructure. UMP's 5-member committee appointed to study party reforms failed to hand over recommendations. Questions of confidence. Parliamentarians say all set for a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister. Coalition talks to start. Preliminary results of Italy's general election indicate a hung parliament. Nidahas Trophy. Stand-in captains for all three teams as Tri-Nation T20 series set to begin.
This definitely gives us confidence and to repeat what we did, and players probably understand their role much better than they used to before.
A very good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Katharina Chang. I want your top story tonight. Violence and tension ensued in Derana and Teldeni areas in the Kandy district, centering the death of an individual after an assault, prompting police to impose police curfew within the Kandy Administrative District. Police spokesperson SP Gunasekara said the police curfew will be in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena ordered security officials to carry out an independent investigation into the incidents. All government schools within the Kandy Administrative District will be closed tomorrow.
H.D. Kumarasinghe, who succumbed to his injuries at the Kandy hospital on Saturday following an assault, was a father of two and had worked as a truck driver in Teldeniya. On February 22nd at 2 in the morning, when he drove to a fuel station in Teldeniya, a three-wheeler driver had attempted to overtake his truck several times, but Kumarasinghe had not allowed. This provoked a group of individuals in the three-wheeler to assault Kumarasinghe. Video surveillance camera set up in the fuel station captured the incident. Prior to being admitted to hospital, the truck driver had filed a complaint at the Teldeniya police station. Due to his critical condition, Kumarasinghe was later transferred to the ICU of the Kandy Teaching Hospital, where he succumbed to severe head injuries on Saturday and around 5 in the morning. The post-mortem report confirmed that the death was caused by a severe blow to the head, resulting in brain injuries. Just before H.D. Kumarasinghe's funeral today, clashes erupted at several locations in Teldeniya. Protesting against the assault, groups vandalized and burned stores located in the Teldeniya Kandy Road, claiming that police failed to act promptly in arresting the suspects. Police fired tear gas to disperse an unruly crowd after clashes broke out in Teldeniya and Derana areas in Kandy today. Meanwhile, police say they have arrested 4 individuals connected to the assault on the late truck driver on February 22nd. They were remanded until March 7th after being produced before the Teldeniya Magistrates Court.
There were 10 situations in several areas of the Teldeniya Police Division since last night. We had to impose police curfew to control the situation. The Police Special Task Force and additional police officers are deployed to maintain peace in the area. We've arrested 24 suspects and they are to be produced before the Teldeniya Magistrate Court.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena ordered for an unbiased and independent investigation into the incident in Kandy. President had also instructed the police and army to implement a special security program to secure the safety of the residents in the affected areas. Minister of Education Akila Viraj Karyavasam meanwhile stated that all government schools will be closed tomorrow in the Kandy district.
The special envoy of the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention, Prince Mirad Raad Zaid Al Hussein of Jordan, who arrived in the island last evening, called on President Maithripala Sirisena today. His visit is of particular significance since Sri Lanka acceded to the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention or Ottawa Convention in December last year, becoming its 163rd state party. Early in the day, the special envoy also called on Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. During discussions that followed, the special envoy of the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention congratulated Sri Lanka for acceding to the convention, while expressing hope for the country to become a strong advocate. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that Prince Mirad Raad Zaid Al Hussein of Jordan will undertake a field visit to the northern province accompanied by the Minister of Rehabilitation and Resettlement, D.M. Swaminathan, to witness demining programs carried out in the areas. He is expected to call on Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe on Wednesday. Municipal councillors of the Western Province allege that Western Province Governor took action to remove VKA Anura as Commissioner of the Colombo Municipal Council due to influence of Minister Faisal Mustafa. They made these remarks at a media briefing in Colombo today. Governor of the Western Province K.C. Logeshwaran took measures to remove VKA Anura as Commissioner of the Colombo Municipal Council on Friday.
Western Province Governor's Secretariat informed that the decision to remove the Colombo Municipal Council Commissioner was based on a report submitted by the Presidential Commission headed by Justice Dr. Chandradasa Nanayakara. The commission inquired into the tragedy caused with the collapse of the Meethotamula garbage dump. The commission report was handed over to the President on the 6th February, concluding that Municipal Council did not have a proper garbage management system to have averted the tragedy. As a result, the President's Secretary had instructed the Governor to launch an investigation into the incident. With an ongoing probe, Governor of the Western Province, K.C. Logeshwaran, removed VKA Anura as Commissioner of the Colombo Municipal Council on Friday. However, employees of the Colombo Municipal Council organised a protest against the removal of VKA Anura as Commissioner. UNP parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman also joined the protest at the Municipal Council premises.
This transfer didn't take place based on a service requirement. Western Province Governor is asking the Commissioner to stay idly. Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government Faisal Mustafa has a personal grudge towards the Commissioner of the Municipal Council. It's clear that the Governor is acting on this. The Colombo Municipal Council gave a clear mandate to the UNP. If the Minister can't respect the mandate, he should go home.
Meanwhile, employees of the Colombo Municipal Council and municipal councillors convened a media briefing to express negative remarks regarding the Governor's decision.
They tried to convince the public through media, saying that the transfer is taking place because of the Presidential Commission on Meethotamula. But they failed to put that on a document.
Meanwhile, Governor of the Western Province today appointed Lalit Vikramaratne as the acting Commissioner of the Colombo Municipal Council with immediate effect.
The 5-member committee appointed to surface recommendations over the restructuring of the United National Party failed to hand over their report to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today owing to several reasons. UNP parliamentarians gathered at the Temple Trees as the report was due to be handed over today.
Following results of the local authorities election, views were raised over a need to restructure the United National Party. Accordingly, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed a 5-member committee to look into the matter. The committee, chaired by State Minister Ruwan Wijewardena, comprises Ministers Sagala Ratnayaka, Akila Viraj Karyavasam, Harin Fernando and State Minister Ajit Pereira. The report was due to be handed over to the Prime Minister today but was however not. Many parliamentarians expressed their views following the meeting.
We discussed the situation that arose in Derana in Kandy. The Prime Minister has given necessary advice to the police and army to disperse the public in order to maintain peace in the area. It is ongoing, but not much interest was given to the matter and no word has been uttered regarding the no-confidence motion. I never voiced about a no-confidence motion. What I requested was that the structure of the party should change and I still maintain that stance. A no-confidence motion will not be brought from our party but the opposition. We will take a collective decision in future whether we are supporting it or not.
Leader of the Lanka Samaja Party, Professor Tissa Vitarana, says that MPs from the joint opposition and the government are prepared to hand over a vote of no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. He made this remark at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
This week in Parliament, members of Parliament from both sides of the House, opposition as well as the government, are preparing a vote of no confidence against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. This is because of his complicity, his active participation in the central bank fraud, and then beyond that he is being made the minister in charge of law and order, so that we cannot expect any type of justice meted out through him. And therefore, there is no other option but for Parliament itself to move a vote of no confidence against the Prime Minister. And large sections of his own party are also supporting such a move, and in fact some of them are prepared to initiate such a move.
Meanwhile, views were expressed in the political arena regarding the alleged no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
All preparations to present the vote of no confidence against the Prime Minister are finalised. At the beginning, there were 16 allegations levelled against him, but we were able to reduce this to 14. This was done in order to create a conducive platform where MPs from the SLFP and UNP can place their signatures without an issue. The SLFP and UNP will show their support during the voting stage following the debate of the no-confidence motion in order to ensure their security and avoid being pressurized by outside factions.
26
MPs from the UNP are required in order to win the no-confidence motion. We believe that they do not have this support. If they bring a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister, we will definitely support it. There will be a group from the UNP who will also support this. According to my opinion, there should be a change and restructuring within the UNP. We strongly believe that now is the right time for him to hand over the leadership to someone who can do this. We will present a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister in Parliament this Tuesday. Even those in the UNP are prepared to do the same.
The Government Medical Officers Association charged that there are reports of doctors from India practicing in Sri Lanka without obtaining permission from the Sri Lanka Medical Council. Speaking at a media briefing today, Assistant Secretary of the GMOA, Dr. Harita Ludge, requested that the Ministry of Health to clarify their stand on the issue.
Regarding the Indian specialist, so-called specialist coming to Sri Lanka and practicing as specialist, especially in northern and eastern provinces, and in some exhibition which was conducted recently in Colombo, where all the organizing work was done by the Ministry of Health. Therefore, we urge the Ministry of Health to clarify their stand regarding all these things, because it is clearly going against the medical ordinance, and the SLMC has also declared that they have not approved such presence of Indian doctors in Sri Lanka. Therefore, we have requested the Ministry of Health, especially the Secretary of Health, to clarify their stand regarding this situation.
Several gathered in numbers to pay their last respects to the remains of the chief incumbent of the Sri Sambodhi temple in Colombo, Venerable Derana Kusala Dhammathera. The late Thera was the founder of the Buddhist channel. The remains of Kusala Dhammathera will be placed at the Sri Sambodhi temple until Thursday, the 8th of March. The cremation will be conducted on the same evening at the Independence Square with state patronage. Derana recently reported about 2 children who are suffering with a rare liver disease. The revelation prompted many people to contact Derana and help in any way they can. This included a private donation of 400,000 rupees from Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe as well.
5-year-old Jinuli Chintara and her 3-year-old brother Chamika Harshana from Andhravava in Navagattegama are suffering from a chronic liver failure. Doctors had advised that a liver transplant was the only way to save them, but their parents were not in a position to bear the cost. We brought this story to you on the 12th of January, and people from all across the country made their donations to support the surgeries. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also joined, donating an amount of 400,000 rupees to the family from his personal fund.
Honorable Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe have seen the news from Derana news, and this child is supposed to get a liver transplant from India. And I think by the Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, Prime Minister's blessing has been given to this child's well-being. And we have done a small donation for this child's treatment. And we hope and we pray that this child will get the necessary treatment, and the doctors will be able to do the liver transplant.
Secretary of the Ministry of Health B. Wijayaratne says that the government is holding discussions to consider relaxing the ban on glyphosate, which is widely used weedicide. Meanwhile, State Minister of Agriculture Vasantha Aluwihare says that the government had allocated a total of 5.2 billion rupees compensation to affected farmers last year, the highest compensation allocated for farmers in the country's history. These remarks were made at an event held in Colombo today.
The inauguration ceremony of the International Forum on Strengthening Food Safety Standards was held under the auspices of State Minister of Agriculture Vasantha Aluwihare today. 26 representatives from 14 countries in the Asia-Pacific region will be taking part at the forum, which will be held until the 8th of March. The event is organized by the Hector Kobbekadu Agrarian Research and Training Institute, Center on Integrated Rural Development for Asia, and the Pacific and the Asian Productivity Organization.
Unfortunately, today, with the population increase, we have been compelled to import half of the annual rice requirement, mainly due to the adverse impact of climate changes. This adverse climate change also caused a severe setback during the past 2 years in achieving the targets of food production in 2016. As a result, we have spent around 200 billion rupees annually in import food. Our government has paid a sum of around 5.2 billion rupees as compensation to the affected farmers during the year 2017. This amount is considered to be the highest amount paid during the year as compensation to the farmers in our history.
Without prominent scientists' knowledge or the recommendation, the government took a bold decision to ban the glyphosate. Now it has become a burden to the country as far as agriculture is concerned. So now that present discourse is that whether we have to disband the ban of glyphosate. We recently concluded the local government election, and government has realized that people has given a strong verdict or the signal against the cash grant system. So again we are talking about whether we have to go back or provision of fertilizer in kind.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. President Maithripala Sirisena emphasizes that the government cannot allow foreign investments to undermine local businesses and industries. The president made these remarks during a special discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat today. The discussion focused on issues that could hamper local industries and businesses. Ministers Manik Samaravikrama, Rishad Badiuddin, Lakshman Kiriyalla and local industrialists participated in the discussion.
Government's principle is to build the country's economy while strengthening the local businessmen and industries. No country in the world carries on with economic policies that destroy their own businessmen and industries. It's a big problem if foreign investors try to undermine the local businessmen and industries. It's very important for us to take into consideration the views by both economists in the country as well as those who are well experienced in industries. So we will discuss about all of this during the cabinet meeting tomorrow.
On business news, Director of the Advocacy Center at the US Department of Commerce, Stephen Derana, says that the United States is eager to expand open, fair and reciprocal trade with Sri Lanka. During his visit to the country recently, Derana met with government leaders and US companies operating in Colombo to discuss opportunities to increase US exports to the island. The US Embassy in Colombo said there is tremendous opportunities for US exports to grow from $337 million worth of exports to Sri Lanka last year. The United States is Sri Lanka's largest trading partner, importing $2.9 billion worth of goods just last year. India and Vietnam resolved to work jointly for an open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region, along with an efficient and rule-based regional security architecture seen as a thinly veiled message to China. After wide-ranging talks between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vietnamese President Tran Dai Quang in India recently, the two countries inked 3 pacts providing for cooperation in nuclear energy, trade and agriculture, along with the decision to boost ties in oil and gas exploration. India and Vietnam have underlined the importance of freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea, while calling for peaceful settlement of disputes without threat or use of force. After delegation-level talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vietnamese President Tran Dai Quang, the two countries also resolved to deepen cooperation in the field of defense and security.
Together we will work for an independent, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region where sovereignty and international laws are respected and where differences are resolved through dialogue. On economic trade investment, the two sides will make joint efforts to harness the potentials and comparative advantages of each side.
The Chinese government announced an economic growth target of 6.5%, predicting a slowdown in growth this year. The figure, which is in line with forecast, is several notches below 6.9% rate at which the world's second largest economy expanded last year. The figure was announced at the opening session of the National People's Congress, an annual gathering of Chinese lawmakers in Beijing. Growth is expected to cool this year as the Chinese government ramps up efforts to cut risk in its financial system and close down inefficient polluting factories. Colombo Bourse concluded the day's session on a mixed note, with the SPI depreciating by 4.21 to close at 6,552.81, while S&P SL20 improved to 3,721.97, up 4.42 index points. Market turnover reached 1.3 million rupees, supported by 2 crossings. Foreign investors were back in the buying side with a net inflow of 46 million rupees. We now have the daily stock market update.
The benchmark all-share price index lost 4.21 points to close at 6,552.81, while the Sensex Sri Lanka 20 index gained 4.42 points to close at 3,721.97. The turnover was 1,295.32 million rupees, with 20.39 million shares changing hands in 4,661 trades. The market capitalization at the end of the day was 3,046.83 billion rupees. Today's foreign purchases was 973.43 million rupees and the foreign sales was 927.56 million rupees.
Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
The leaders of 2 anti-establishment parties have each claimed that they have the right to govern Italy after voters in Europe's 4th largest economy did not return a majority to any single party. The Eurosceptic populist Five Star Movement was the biggest single party with a third of the vote. But the Anti-Immigrant League also said it had been endorsed to run the country as part of a centre-right alliance. Forming a government could take weeks of negotiation and coalition building. An alliance between the far-right League and ex-Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi Forza Italy party is set to win the most seats in the lower house of parliament. Today, both League leader Matteo Salvini and Five Star leader Luigi Di Maio spoke of their right to govern the country. Despite stating the contrary during the run-up to the vote, Five Star has now announced it is open for coalition talks with other parties. A South Korean delegation left for North Korea today for rare talks aimed at restarting dialogue between Pyongyang and the US. The group will focus on establishing conditions for dialogue between US and Pyongyang, as well as talks aimed at denuclearization. Relations between the Koreas have warmed following the Winter Olympics.
The 10-member South Korean delegation, headed by National Security Office head Chung Yu-yong, left from Seoul Air Base in Seongnam near the capital. In an unprecedented move, Chung was also accompanied by a National Intelligence Service Chief Seo Hun and Vice Unification Minister Chun Hae-sung. It is not known if they will meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during the two-day visit. The delegation is expected to attend a dinner with North Korean officials today, with another meeting set for tomorrow. They will speak with North Korean officials on starting dialogue between the North and the United States, as well as other countries in a bid to rein in the North's nuclear and missile programs. Both North Korea and the United States have expressed willingness to talk, but US President Donald Trump demands the North denuke first. The relationship between the US and North Korea were particularly tense before the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, with both countries repeatedly threatening each other with total destruction.
Now, Hollywood's awards season hit its pinnacle as the 90th Annual Academy Awards ceremony aired at the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles yesterday. The ceremony turned into a celebration and exhilaration of representation and inclusion after a year marked by seismic cultural change in Hollywood that rippled across the world. This year's awards were poised to be a battle between Guillermo del Toro's fantasy, The Shape of Water, with 13 nominations, Christopher Nolan's wartime epic Dunkirk, which had earned 8 nominations, and Martin McDonagh's 3 Billboard Outside Ebbing, Missouri, with 7 nominations.
For the second year in a row, the Jimmy Kimmel Live late-night star returned to host the 2018 Oscars, and from the very beginning, viewers discovered that the man in charge was going to bring a combination of serious topics and laughs to the forefront as he hit the perfect tone to open the 90th Academy Awards.
I do want to mention, this year when you hear your name called, don't get up right away. Just give us a minute. We don't want another thing.
The first award of the evening, the Oscar for Best Costume Design, went to Mark Bridges for his work in Phantom Thread.
Bridges' Phantom Thread. And the Oscar goes to...
The Oscar for Best Makeup and Hairstyling was bagged by Kazuhiro Tsuji, David Malinowski and Lucy Sibik for Darkest Hour.
This is the first Oscar nomination for...
Sebastian Lelio won the Oscar for the Best Foreign Language Film, A Fantastic Woman.
A Fantastic Woman!
Thank you so much.
And...
Going into the evening, a lot of focus was on the Oscar possibilities for Greta Gerwig and Jordan Peele, who were nominated for Lady Bird and Get Out, respectively. Ultimately, Peele won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Greta Gerwig's nomination was the 5th time a female director was among nominees, and the nomination of Rachel Morrison for cinematography of Mudbound made her the first woman in history to be nominated for cinematography.
Coco, Lee Unkrich and Darla K. Anderson.
Coco, about a Mexican boy's journey to the underworld, won Best Animated Feature Film and Best Original Song. 89-year-old James Ivory became the oldest winner of the Oscar for the gay coming-of-the-age drama Call Me By Your Name in the Best Adapted Screenplay category. 89-year-old French director Agnès Varda was the oldest woman nominee in Oscar history as she nominated for Best Documentary Feature for her film Faces Places. Gary Oldman won the Oscar for Best Actor for his performance as Winston Churchill in the Second World War drama Darkest Hour.
I would just like to salute Sir Winston Churchill, who has been marvellous company on what can be described as an incredible journey.
Frances McDormand,
Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which had 7 nominations, was the standout in the acting categories, earning Frances McDormand an Oscar for Best Actress for her performance as a grieving mother in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Her acceptance speech marked one of the most powerful and symbolic moments of the night.
So I'm hyperventilating a little bit. If I fall over, pick me up because I've got some things to say. If I may be so honored to have all the female nominees in every category stand with me in this room tonight. The actors, Meryl, if you do it, everybody else will, come on. The filmmakers, the producers, the directors, the writers, the cinematographer, the composers, the songwriters, the designers. Okay, look around, everybody. Look around, ladies and gentlemen, because we all have stories to tell and projects we need financed. I have 2 words to leave with you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Inclusion rider.
Sam Rockwell won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Allison Janney's supporting role in I, Tonya won her the Oscar in the female category. Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, which had earned 8 nominations, was limited to just 3 wins in technical categories, including sound mixing, sound editing and film editing.
What I lack, or how I am incomplete. He sees me for what I am.
The Shape of Water, about a woman who falls in love with a sea creature, took the top honours, winning a total of 4 Academy Awards out of 13 nominations, including Best Picture and Best Director for Guillermo del Toro, and awards for both original score and production design.
Because I think that the greatest thing our art does and our industry does is to erase the lines in the sand. We should continue doing that when the world tells us to make them deeper.
The Tri-Nation T20 International Series between Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka for the Nidahas Trophy is set to begin tomorrow in Colombo. The first encounter of the series between visiting India and host Sri Lanka is scheduled to be played at R. Premadasa Stadium tomorrow evening.
The Indian and Bangladesh teams arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday ahead of Nidahas Trophy 2018. The triangular T20 series set to begin tomorrow. The Indian and Bangladeshi teams are without their regular skippers as Bangladeshi Shakib Al Hasan is left out due to injury and Indian skipper Virat Kohli is rested along with Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Rohit Sharma will captain the Indian team for the series while Mahmudullah Riyad will take over as stand-in captain for Bangladesh. Meanwhile, Dinesh Chandimal will captain the Sri Lankan side as Angelo Matthews is ruled out due to a hamstring injury. During a practice session today, Sri Lanka head coach Chandik Hathurusinghe had this to say.
It's definitely give us confidence and to repeat what we did, and players probably understand their role much better than they used to before.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Let's now cross over to the Derana Weather Centre.
A very good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Your temperatures for tomorrow will range between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius with the lowest yet again expected in the Central Hills. We're looking at the map. A low pressure zone will form from the west of the island and will gradually disappear. Well, the sun will be very generous to the areas of Jaffna, Manna, Vaunia and Anuradhapura. But that, however, will not be the same case in the areas of Kandy, Colombo, Galle and Matara as well as Hambantota, as they can experience showers and thunder showers. That's all we have from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next, Next is your city by city forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you back to the 90th Academy Awards in Los Angeles, where the nominees and guests hit the red carpet ahead of the show. We hope you enjoy these visuals. Have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.